Our top story tonight, the media mob lashes out at Michelle Bachmann. Not only has the Minnesota Congresswoman announced she's running for president, she believes the Obama administration fears her.
The President of the United States is threatened by my candidacy. He fears me. He sees me as a serious, substantive competitor. I think he sees that I have a very clear path to victory for the nomination, and I think that he wants to do whatever he can to diminish me because he thinks he will have to see me in the debates.
And the lamestream media cannot wait to diminish her.
What is this, Michael, the Protestant Reformation? That somehow we're going back to the purity of the original Christian church. Well, no, we're going back to the original perfection of slaveholders and how perfect they were. And government is the enemy. She speaks pure Tea Party lingo.
Bachmann wants nothing but pure socialism coming out of the Agriculture Department every day.
The question is, why the viciousness from the press? What are they so afraid of? Joining us now from New York are Fox News analysts and talk radio stars, Monica Crowley and Alan Colmes.
Hello.
All right. Now, let me just tell you my theory very briefly, and then I want to hear whether you disagree or agree. What I think is that Michelle Bachmann emerged as the one candidate who both the elites on the left and on the right fear. They don't like her. I mean, it would have been a Huckabee if he was in the race, or Palin if she had been in the race, but they're not in the race. It's Michelle Bachmann, and she's surged in the last couple of weeks. So Michelle Bachmann is persona non grata, and she's the target, and she's front and center, and she should expect it. Alan, do you agree or disagree?
Oh, she should expect it, and she shouldn't get so offended when she said when she asked that you were a flake. She's all offended by it. She finally accepted the apology. I got to laugh when she says that Obama fears her. The guy who killed bin Laden fears Michelle Bachmann.
He didn't personally kill bin Laden.
She brings this on herself by saying statements that are not true. And forget the stuff that she thinks like Lexington and Concord are in Massachusetts, or that she thinks John Quincy Adams is a founding father. She has not adequately answered questions about farm subsidies that she received, a farm that she actually partly owns that she said she didn't, about monies that go to Minnesota that she said she's against anybody else getting it, but she gets the goodies. Those are the issues she has to really answer honestly about, something she has not yet done.
Yeah, well, I think Monica, look, I think Obama would fear someone like a Michelle Bachmann. I know the elites think she has no chance, counting her out, but I've heard this refrain before. She's the Tea Party, closest to Tea Party person that's out there, and if she caught fire, I say beware all of these people.
Absolutely. In fact, I think that's exactly what's going on here, Laura. What we're witnessing is another edition of conservative woman derangement syndrome. We saw this go on with Governor Palin, and now we're seeing it with Michelle Bachmann. Why? Because you have very strong, articulate, conservative women who actually walk the walk, Laura. They put their money where their mouth is. They don't just give bromides about being pro-life, pro-gun. They actually live their lives according to those conservative principles. So therefore, they represent an existential threat to liberalism. Can you imagine for 1 second, if either Governor Palin or Michelle Bachmann gained real traction with women, a core constituency of the Democratic base, if they started hemorrhaging women because women started responding to Michelle Bachmann or Governor Palin's message about constitutionally limited government, fiscal responsibility, and free markets, the Democrats would be sunk. Therefore, they need to destroy both of these women, and that's what you're seeing right now with Michelle Bachmann.
By simply explaining the things she says which are not true, and it's not living by conservative principles to take farm subsidies when you're against everybody else getting it.
Oh, Alan,
and
that's
socialism.
A long list.
She is an acceptor of socialism. She's a beneficiary of socialism.
Yeah.
Something she claims she's against.
Alan,
that is not conservative principles.
Alan, I just want a hypothetical question.
Yes,
Okay,
please.
this is cable news. We love hypos.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say she had basically a similar background, professional background, kind of stable and pretty cool personal background, and yet she were a liberal. And she espoused liberal ideas, maybe about abortion or marriage or politics in some way, economics. Don't you think she would be hailed as a strong, forward-thinking, liberal leader that is capturing the imagination of one segment of the population? I think she'd be hailed.
I don't disagree with that, because I think she is a strong person who is capturing the imagination on the conservative side, but she still has not answered certain key questions that I referenced earlier, and she still has not
Well, she just got in the race,
for some
right?
of the things
She
has not directly answered questions when asked by Chris Wallace and a bunch of other people, and she continues to make these faux pas. And then, like someone today edited her Wikipedia profile to have John Quincy Adams be a founding father. I mean, she's always right. She won't even admit a mistake.
When the president says there are 57 states,
or you keep saying 57 states
says Navy corpsmen four times,
that's all you got. Every single time we bring up something on the right, all you got is 57 states and corpsmen. It's old already. Come up with something new. Michelle Bachmann said this stuff
How do you deal with him at Thanksgiving, Monica? How do you deal with this man at the holiday table?
Don't even. The fact you just mentioned that, Laura, I'm having post-traumatic stress syndrome. Look, in fact, Alan asked for a new Obama gaffe. A couple of weeks ago, he used the word feet, as in how many shoes do you wear on your feet? Nobody picked that up, okay? I also
You're right, he's a complete moron.
Excuse me. I also think there's a huge element of sexism here, Laura, because, for example, when our colleague Chris Wallace, who has since apologized, but when he said on Sunday morning, "Are you a flake?" I cannot imagine a male candidate
being asked
getting
that question.
Sure,
I agree. I didn't like it.
Or, frankly, Hillary Clinton getting that question.
Yeah. Well, because she's not a flake.
Alan, here's what I think ultimately does matter is your performance, right, in office. And the question is, for Democrats, is it more important that you say millions of jobs will be saved and created as a result of X policy, and then that doesn't happen, or is it more important, frankly, if Obama makes a gaffe about 57 states or
what policies has she got? For example, she says, if we do away with the minimum wage, we'll do away with the job deficit. There's no evidence of that whatsoever.
Alan,
what policy has she got?
Alan, do you think Obama's policies are working?
Yes, in fact, they would have worked better with a bigger, more robust stimulus. We needed a bigger stimulus.
So if we spent more money, they'd really be working.
Yep,
okay, so that's the question for the people. And Monica, I think in the end, whether a staffer prepared some blue card that had the wrong, point about John Wayne's birthplace, none of that's going to matter.
Okay,
in the end, none of it's going to matter. In the end, what you believe and whether you connect with the American people and their values at a time of great economic distress.
Yes.
I think that's what matters. I think Alan's right about this. Alan, you're right about one thing. She should get used to it, because if you're a conservative woman in the United States and you're unapologetic about your views, guess what? It's going to be open season on you. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother Monica.
This is not about
Monica, doesn't it happen to you? Monica, does it happen to you?
Yes, and that's why I said it's a conservative woman derangement syndrome, because we represent an existential threat to them. That's why they have to take these women out, metaphorically speaking, before they can gain any traction.
All you got to do is present her own words to her.
Yeah, Alan, Monica, look, I wish we had the whole hour, because I'm transporting myself to the Thanksgiving table.
It's ugly. It's ugly.
You don't want to be there.
I'm coming next year. Thanks a lot, guys.
You're perfectly welcome.